Welcome to Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC 289, UFC back in Canada. Amanda versus, I don't know, somebody. We'll talk about it.
Let's go!
I blanked on everybody's name there. I was like, I don't know who anybody is anymore.
Too much weed, bro. Too much weed.
I'm exhausted. I'm tired. It's been a long week. Amanda Nunes and Irene Aldana, of course, is the main event. I'm kidding around. We know what's going on. Uh-oh, wait a second. Where's Fred?
Freddie!
Did we just lose Fred's audio? Damn it. We got Fred a new mic, and now we can't hear him at all. Fred, we don't hear you at all. Something must have disconnected. Something went wrong.
What the hell, man?
Fault. Oh, it's Fred's fault.
Just as everything was going so smooth, man.
Fred's back. Fred's got a new mic. Same mic as Dave. Living the life.
Testing.
Look how good Fred sounds, AJ. Listen to that.
Sounds great, man.
I know.
Look at that guy.
Gotta
Look
get you one of these.
Look how he holds that mic like a pro, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like a porn star. Look at this
I'm gonna
guy.
get him one of these sticks things, so he won't have to hold
Sticks?
it.
No, sticks. Okay.
Why? I don't know why you had to
guys.
go there. I don't know why you're picturing that. I don't know why you had to go with phallic symbol right away,
man.
there.
Listen,
Like a pro.
I saw the
It's
joke.
ridiculous.
It was lined up, man. It was perfect, man.
Yeah.
Perfect
Your jokes
setup.
that are lined up don't really land, but that's okay, AJ. One day they will.
That's
One
what
day
she
they
says.
will. Your parlay landed last weekend though
I did.
somehow, right? What the hell?
Yeah, man.
What?
I can't believe you're bringing it up. What the hell? You must be tired.
I gotta give credit where it's due, man. Come on, when you're down, I'll tell you. See, unlike you, AJ, I tell it like it is. When you're winning, I tell you you're winning. When you're losing, I tell you you're losing, and that's just the fact of the matter. You like to hide things and kind of play games and make excuses, but your parlay won again this week, or last weekend. You're on fire. You're killing it. 3 out of the last 4 cards, you've hit like 4 or 5 fight parlays. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna start betting with you.
Listen, man, and it was a good payout last week. If you went with my parlay, the 4-fight parlay, $20 brought you like $230, somewhere around that range. You know?
I don't know if it was that much, but it was pretty good. It was decent.
Yeah. It was a good payout, man. Like it was worth it. But yeah, I've been on fire. I told you, dude, my new crystal ball from Romania, you know, my team out in the Philippines, man, we're not fooling around. AJ's on fire. And I'm gonna win this weekend again too.
I don't know what Romania and the Philippines has to do with anything there, but I'll take your word for it. Because right now I'm just going to take your word for things because you seem to be on the money. Up is down, down is up, black is white, white is black. Everything is topsy-turvy. We're living in a bizarro world. AJ's parlays are actually winning.
Listen, man, all this week I've been trying to listen to MMA, but I get distracted every second. I start listening to Rogan, and he starts talking aliens. I start talking to Andrew Schultz, aliens. Everybody's talking aliens, man.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't listen to these podcasts. They're like top podcast guys, man, just like us.
Andrew Schultz.
Thanks.
Oh, Schultz. So funny, man.
Who's that?
Never heard of him.
It's a podcast.
Is he Is he like a political guy? Is he
flagrant? No, he's a comedian, man. He has some. Yeah, he talks politics, but he's very funny,
okay.
man.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Flagrant,
he's got like hair there and a little mustache, maybe.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
I think I've
guy,
seen
man.
him on
Very
YouTube.
funny.
He's British.
Super funny.
I thought he was American.
No, he's American. I think he's from. I'm not sure where he's from. I want to say New York, but I could be wrong. But he's from the States. Super funny guy. And he has his co-host that actually performed here in Montreal a few times. Funny guy, man. Funny, good show. But
so
all
your
to say
parlay
is, it's
last
all about
weekend,
aliens.
AJ. Just so we're clear here.
Yep.
Show
me the money, man.
It paid out. I think we can get to it. I think I can even show you AJ's parlay from last weekend to really confuse things.
Damn.
You want to do that? Let's give you credit, AJ.
What are you doing with that rope, man? Jeffrey Epstein move.
Never you mind. Okay. This is going to be tricky, and I'm going to pull it off. And you're all going to be
Freddie,
proud of me.
I was waiting for you to get that one.
What do you say?
I got it. But I rather we just don't spend any time on it.
That was another thing I was listening to. Conspiracy Week with a gangster who was in prison who set the ropes, man. Jeffrey didn't do it.
What?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna send you that That show, great show, man. Great show. But
Fred,
anyways,
what the hell are you guys talking about? I've completely lost the plot of what this show is. I don't know what you guys are saying even.
I don't
Philip
want to
and
go there because it's
Okay.
tasteless a little bit. Like it's
Okay.
AJ, but it's tasteless. So I don't want to go there.
When is AJ with base?
Freddie. Or not tasteless.
You know, he's always off base. Okay. AJ's parlay from last week. Wow, this is like not working. Is this
You can
working?
do it. You can
It's
do
kind
it.
of working. Here we go. It's kind of working again. Yay! Here we go. AJ's parlay: Albazi, Caceres, Elliott, Silva. $10.
put Butler.
Forget that. There's no.
Put Butler if he
It's
comes.
not on the thing. I can't put anything. So 20 gets you 140-22.
That's good.
20
I like
gets you
that.
140-22. Silva, Elliott, Caceres, and Albazi. So 20 got you, what did I say? 122?
140.
140? Pretty good, AJ. Not bad. Not 240 or whatever. You were
That was my last
AJ
parlay.
said
I
like
apologize.
230. I was like, that seems
Yeah,
a little
that-
much.
No,
I don't
that
think
was
it was that much.
was the week before. That was the week before. It was at the somewhere 230, something like that. It paid out. It was a good payout, man. 2 weeks in a row, good payouts.
Yeah, your man Butler, though, that you wanted to put on your parlay, but we couldn't
Yeah,
put him
good
on.
thing.
Right.
Thank God I didn't put him
you
on.
wanted
man.
to put Butler there, but the fight had just been made because
Yeah,
he was a
but
last minute. He was a last minute replacement. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
put Butler, and I was like, I can't put
Well,
Butler.
lucky I didn't.
If you had put Butler, though, your parlay would have lost
but-
completely because he got knocked out. So
Yeah, and you know what the worst part is? But listen to this. That was the only one where I didn't have any stats on the guy. Like I heard that he was like an up and comer and all this kind of stuff. But
yeah,
those are the
you
type
were
of fights
betting
I kind of
against
stay away
Jim
from.
Miller more than
Yeah.
on Butler, right?
Well, you know what? I'm surprised with Jim, man. Holy smokes. You got to tip your hat to Jim Miller, man. This guy is a fighting machine. How old is he? He's like 40-something years old.
Yeah,
Man, impressive,
He's,
man.
yeah.
He's
been
going to
fighting
finish
for a
off
long
at
time.
UFC
39.
300. He'll
He's
be
39. He's not 40 yet.
39.
Yeah.
Well, he's just there, man. But he'll be at the UFC 300, and he's going to retire at 300. I think it's fitting for this guy because, holy shit, man. The guy just gets better. And he's not
When
going up
is
against nobody.
300?
Oh,
I
300.
mean, we're just like at
and next year, I think sometime
yeah.
he'll make
He'll
it
do it. He'll be there. Yeah, he'll make it.
because we're hitting 289 this weekend, right? So we're not that far away from 300. It's 11 events. They do about 12 a year, so it'll be sometime next year. They do how many pay-per-views do they do a year? I figure 12 to 14, something like that.
Yeah, about one a
Once
month.
a month, yeah. Sometimes twice in a month, though, right? Your man Albazi won in the main event, AJ, against Kai Kara France.
Yep.
We were all unanimous picking Albazi. However, a lot of people thought Kara France won. I actually didn't see the fight, and I think Fred didn't see the fight either. This was a rare weekend when I just didn't watch the UFC. I was doing something else on Saturday, and I can't really remember what it was. I think probably watching the Yankee game and playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom instead of watching UFC because, whatever. I was doing other things.
Yeah,
I went out for dinner. I was at dinner with my parents and my daughter. And then my son was at a birthday party with his mom. So, we did that. That's what I did instead of watching UFC. And I watched the Yankee game. And I think maybe they won. I don't know. They lost today already. I'm watching game 2 of a doubleheader. Yankees lost today. Anyways, AJ, you're the only one who saw the fight. Did you think Albazi won actually, or come on?
No, I thought he won. I mean, it was close. It went to the 5th. I mean, look, it depends on how you look at it, but it was close, but it seemed like Albazi had more strikes put in. I mean, if you look at the strike total count, but
he
it
didn't.
might have been more on Kai Kara France, but it was the clean strikes that were on the mark. I think, look, he won it by a hair, but he's still there. He's 17-1. This kid is something, 17 wins, 1 loss. Everybody can have a bad fight, but if he had not the greatest fight, he still beat Kai Kara France. So you got to say something about him.
Okay. You say
Wasn't
something
the
I
about
best
it.
think
fight,
people-
but it was a good fight, but it could have been.
I
Either
think
or.
people had
Depends.
an issue. People had an issue with the stats because if you look at the stats, Kai Kara France had
Yeah.
133 strikes. Albazi only had 64. significant strikes were 99-43 for Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France had 2 out of 2 takedowns. Albazi was 1 for 9. So I think that's where a lot of people were like, I don't know what happened with the judges, but I didn't see the fight, so I can't really give you a scorecard. But a lot of people were seemed to think that was a bad decision, which happens unfortunately in fighting sports.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing too. I was seeing a lot of people thinking it was a bad decision.
You know,
but
it is what it is, man.
I didn't see it, so I can't really comment. And AJ saw it, and he liked it, but it's hard to because AJ's a little iffy with his judging, so I don't know.
Plus, he doesn't want to admit that his parlay got lucky. So,
yeah, that's it. But still, you need a little bit of luck if you're gambling and winning, right? And he's getting the luck. The luck is on AJ's side. The luck of the Irish there with AJ. We'll see how it goes. Because AJ,
I almost feel bad that last week, like if you remember in recent weeks, we've been cutting him off because he's going on and going on during his picks. But I kind of feel bad. Like right now, he's actually like, hey, maybe he was making sense.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird when you come to the realization when you think you're right about something, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And you really start to question everything. And I'm at that point with AJ. Maybe Freddie and I are wrong, and AJ is always right. Maybe we just never figured it out. He is a brown belt,
but
Fred. He's a brown belt with both blue belts. We should be deferring to him more, I guess. But he seems like a guy that I wouldn't trust. I don't trust him, you know.
But Albazi is the guy that went. He almost had like a submission. He went for the attempt. It didn't work, but he was. Look, sometimes that gives you a heads up on the fight, depending on how you look at it. But I agree with you on one thing, Dave. Luck, when it comes to gambling, man, you know, if everything was so perfect, everybody would hit every week, man. You don't know. Like this weekend, man, I'm going to say one thing. I think there's only going to be one Brazilian who wins.
Okay.
On the main and co So one of those Brazilians are winning. I'm going to say it a bit later. But anything could happen, right?
Say it now, bitch. I mean, say it now.
You know?
What you got? Why you waiting? Why you making me wait? Tell me now.
I think I'm with AJ. I'm with AJ on this one.
Are you? But I don't know if we're going to be going for the same.
He has to be picking Nunes, because if he's not picking Nunes, like he's just killing his hot streak. Yeah. So he's picking Nunes and he's picking Beneil Dariush, and I think I might agree. I still have to think it over, but I like Dariush's chances in that fight.
I do too.
Listen, and you know what, Freddie, you got me, man. You read me so well, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Dariush, the only problem with him is that he's so under the radar, but the guy is so damn good, man. He is so damn good. A BJJ black belt going up against Charles Oliveira, like a jiu-jitsu like beast. But it goes further than that. You know, the wrestling game, Dariush. You know, striking, man. Okay, it's close, man. The only thing with Dariush is that he goes in for a dogfight. The guy is emotional, man. He's gonna go in there and you know what? One thing with this guy, and a lot of people are saying, oh, he fights like, you know, not the same caliber like Oliveira does. The difference with Dariush is that, you know, I even saw an interview today. I really like this guy a lot more, man, because he says one thing. He doesn't call out fighters. He doesn't call out for the title. He just wants to go through the division. He doesn't care who's in front of him, you know, where he stands, because the guy has the same ambitions as him to win, to have a better life. And Dariush is that guy. He doesn't like marketing. He was saying that he doesn't even go on Instagram. He's not involved in the marketing aspect. He just likes to fight. That's why we don't hear much about him, and that's why he's so underrated. And he's a real underdog going into this fight. I can guarantee you. Like, I was listening to, you know, a few bookies and whatnot, and they're all against Dariush. He's the favorite now? I'm surprised, because all the odds makers, man, and bookies that I was listening to were all against Dariush. It's like he has no chance. You know, it's Charles Oliveira. Look who he's fought.
Bet 99 odds. Beneil Dariush minus 148, the favorite. Charles do Bronx Oliveira plus 120. They got it right. Chucky Olives, former champion, plus 120.
Chucky, yeah.
Charles Oliveira.
I think Bet 99 has got it right.
Chucky Olives. You know what? I agree with you guys. I think that's how it's going to go down. I got Benil and Amanda. All right, guys, we're 15 minutes in. Shortest show ever. We got the point across.
Show's
We're
over.
done. Good night.
It's over, guys. See you next week,
I
man.
think we're good. I'm in the fourth inning of the Yankee game. I got other shit to do.
Yeah,
I think we're good. We gave our picks.
We talked about aliens, AJ winning on a hot streak.
Yeah.
We got our picks in. What more do you want? Mob killings? Oh, we didn't talk about that.
Let's not.
Just saying. Just saying, man. You know?
There's been quite a few.
There's been quite a few, dude. In the UFC as well, man. Boxing for sure. Hands down, man. As Don King.
Willie Calhoun is on fire today. There you go, Willie.
Listen.
Get down to second base, Willie. Ah, shit. He's out.
Free Willie.
God damn it. No.
Listen, man. If you look on
Give me
paper,
a replay on that. Challenge, Booney.
If you look on paper, man, and you look at Chucky Olives, man, you look at who he beat, man. Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, man. Like, on paper, man, this guy is he's up there. He's done it. You know what I mean? And before that, he was on an 11-fight winning streak, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the only guy that's beat him is Islam Makhachev, you know, the current champion and just a wrecker of worlds. And we haven't seen Chucky Olive since that fight back in October of 2022. This is his return fight. He's beaten everybody. He's on an incredible win streak. He's actually a year younger than Beneil Dariush at 33 years of age. He's great on the ground, has tremendous jiu-jitsu. Very good standing up. Like, Charles Oliveira is not a good matchup for anybody. You know? He's former champion on that win streak for a long time for a reason. I think Beneil Dariush is going to win this fight based off wrestling. I think that he's going to be able to get key takedowns in key moments of the fight and nullify the ground game of Oliveira, win some scrambles, land some punches from the top, and manage to win the fight that way. Get him in the clinch, get some, push him up against the cage, dirty boxing. I think he's going to have more strength than Oliveira. I think he might be a little bit more kind of physically strong. He's a little thicker. Oliveira's kind of lanky, but Oliveira could catch you, Oliveira could catch you anywhere. He could catch you standing up. He could catch you on the ground. Like, he could catch you with some slick submission work, and he could catch you with a punch you don't see coming that'll put your lights out. Oliveira is nasty. So, this is a very tough fight that I'm not sure I want to put on my parlay because it's very risky. I feel like this is a risky fight. And even though I am picking Beneil Dariush, I'm on the fence about it. It's not like with Amanda Nunes, who is come on now. She's winning this fight. Irene Aldana is not the one to beat Amanda Nunes. Not here. I don't think it's happening. I took a good look at this fight, and I don't believe it. Oh, it's Glaber Day. 2-run home run, Glaber Torres. Calhoun was safe, by the way, on the replay call. They got it revised, and the call on the field was overturned. Safe at second. Glaber Torres, 2-run homer. Yanks up 2-0 in the fourth. Let's go, Yankees. Sorry. But Dariush, it's I think he wins because it's 3 rounds. I think in a 5-round fight it'd be tougher, and I think Oliveira might catch him. But in a 3-round fight, I think Dariush could win 2 out of 3 rounds based on positioning, just having better position.
I agree.
Which comes with the wrestling game.
I could see it going by decision, but I'll tell you what. Also, sometimes, Charles Oliveira he's a legend. He's one of the greats in the division. But sometimes he gets caught, whether it's standing up or whether it's even getting tapped. So I wouldn't be surprised if Beneil Dariush is able to out-muscle him and be in those top positions that, hey, maybe he even ends up getting a submission on Charles Oliveira. But I agree with you, Dave. This is a very tight fight. If we come back next week and Oliveira won, I wouldn't be that surprised. But I'm going to go also with Dariush. Decision makes sense, but I could see maybe a sub or something, a TKO happening. Beneil Dariush, he could be very heavy on you. He could be like the type of fighter that, hey, those 5-minute rounds are long, and that could be something that sometimes, Charles will collapse in those situations. But hey, other than that loss to Makachev, he was on a incredible streak. So like I said, if next week we come and he wins, I won't be that surprised. But I got Dariush. Decision seems to be the smart call.
Beneil Dariush, welcome to a new member, Thomas McDonough. Thank you, Thomas. New member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. I saw Min Kant renewed the membership, so thank you to all the new members joining up over at join.ringsidereport.net. 9 of Beneil's 22 wins are by decision, 8 by submission, 5 knockouts. I don't think he gets a finish. The majority of his wins come by decision. I don't think he submits Oliveira, but I could see a knockout. I could see a knockout here. What are the props on the knockout?
You see, if it stays standing up, I think Oliveira probably wants this to stay standing up. If I'm Oliveira, I probably want to try to be trading a lot with Beneil. I think that type of fight could be in his favor.
Dariush,
well, he's got a longer reach, eh?
Dariush,
that's the thing. If you look at...
Yeah, sorry, AJ. I just want to give some numbers here. Dariush is the favorite, minus 148, like I mentioned. The most likely outcome, plus 250, Dariush by knockout. Then goes Dariush by decision, plus 333. Dariush by submission... it's either going to finish Dariush by decision, or then they go plus 350, Charles Oliveira by submission, and then Dariush by submission, plus 450, Oliveira by knockout, plus 500, Oliveira by decision, plus 566. You might want to throw a couple bucks on Oliveira by decision, plus 566. Like, I could see that. It's a big number.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I think we're the only show right now that I can say that went with Dariush. All 3 of us went with Dariush. Everybody's going with Oliveira for the TKO.
Well, maybe you need to stop watching these other jabroni shows, AJ, because what the hell are you watching? I'm not watching any of these things.
Listen, and I'm telling
Watch
you, man,
the Yankees like I am.
Right down the pipe, man. I'm surprised Bet99 is giving it to Dariush. But
it's not Bet99, it's Las Vegas. It's the bookies. It's the numbers. It's,
I thought it was.
Makers.
But I'm telling you one thing, man.
Bet99.
Oliveira has a longer reach, man. And if he gets an opening, that's where he's dangerous. But he's got to get an opening on Dariush. And like I said, Dariush is ready for a dogfight. This guy goes to war, man. He's just solid, man. He's just a solid guy, man. Iranian wrestling, man. Just so under the radar, for a lot of people. And I'm telling you, man, I'm sure Dana White is hoping that Oliveira wins, so it could be a much more marketable fight if he goes and fights for the title again. But I think those plans are going to be shattered on Saturday. I think Dariush is going to be I think he's going to be too overwhelming for Oliveira. I really, really think so. I think Oliveira is at that point right now that the pressure is on him. He needs this win. He had his run, man. The 11-fight winning streak, man. Till he met Islam. I think we're gonna see a different fighter coming in on Saturday. I think Oliveira's time is done, man. How old is he? He's what, 30? He's 33, man.
33, man. He's younger than Dariush.
Yeah, by how old is Dariush? Yeah, by a year.
34.
I mean, they're in the same.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be a tough fight. I don't think people realize how good Dariush is, and every time we see this guy fight, we realize how good he is. It's like, how can we not realize that this guy is a solid contender?
Yeah, but you can't underestimate Charles Oliveira, man. Chucky Olives is for real.
Of course, man.
He smashed everybody.
And that's the fun. And listen, and I know more than look. Honestly, I know Chucky Olives, man. When he didn't even have, and I say this several times in our show through the past years. I remember Oliveira, when he used to go fight, he didn't even have a coach in his corner. He didn't even have anyone. He would walk into the octagon with literally nobody. He ended up, and I say it all the time, my coach, Fabio Holanda, who was out there, had to corner him one time because he had nobody. And that's when Chucky was really going down on a bad losing streak. He went through not a great period, and then he rebounded and became a specimen, man. This guy became, he's legendary. But there was one point in his UFC career, he was just on the brink of being released, and no one's supporting this guy. And if you look at his story, man, he's done so much with his money. I mean, this guy is a winner. He's helped so many kids in Brazil, he's schools, and, you want to see this guy win. But I want to see Dariush win as well, because this guy has done his bones and always stayed under that radar. Solid fighter, doesn't have the marketability. He says it himself, but I think Charles's time has come, and he's done a lot for the sport, and he's done a lot for his community. So, a thumbs up to him. His time has come.
You're plotting his retirement already? What do you mean?
I'm not plotting his retirement, but it's going to be, I think, for a guy like that who is like, look, he needs to beat Dariush. If he doesn't, man, it's going to be a harder and harder time to get to that title again.
Sure.
But time is ticking, man.
I mean, if he beats Dariush, he's in a pretty good spot.
Oh, absolutely.
He's back as number one contender pretty much.
Yeah, he's back there.
And like we were saying, he could easily beat Dariush. Like, I know you're very convinced that Dariush will win, and that's fine, and but you've been wrong before. Oliveira could easily. I feel like you're kind of prematurely ending Charles Oliveira's career when he's only 33 and Dariush is 34, actually older than him. I don't really get where you're coming from with that, but whatever.
And he's been very cyclical. Like, he's been on, like AJ said, on winning streaks and on losing streaks. So who knows? Maybe this is a 2-3 fight losing streak, and then he wins 10 in a row. Like
maybe
Chucky Olives, man. Chucky from the Bronx. Come on.
I don't think he's beaten Islam. I don't think Beneil's beaten Islam. I don't think anybody's beaten Islam.
Nah, Islam's overrated. Volkanovski exposed him.
Yo. Come on. Islam won that fight, though.
Yep. Volkanovski exposed him.
I mean, he's human. I don't know if he exposed him.
Volkanovski's a beast, man.
I don't know who's beaten Islam at 155, other than maybe Volkanovski if he gets another shot. Like, I could see Volkanovski getting another shot and getting it done. I could see Volkanovski continuing to run through the featherweight division, eventually moving up to fight Islam again and beating him then, possibly, because Volkanovski is that good. But I don't see anybody else at 155 that could do it right now.
I don't know, dude.
We'll see how Beneil looks on Saturday. We'll see.
Listen, man, he wins on Saturday, man. It's 9 fights in a row. So this guy, I'm telling you, Islam better not take him lightly.
Amanda Nunes.
If he wins on Saturday.
Amanda Nunes, the greatest women's fighter of all time, one of the greatest fighters of all time, period.
Hey,
35 years old, world champion, defending against Irene Aldana. Yeah, Fred?
I got a stat for Amanda Nunes I saw pass. Like, if you count the amount of days somebody was UFC champion, she's the all-time leader. Like, of holding a belt. Like, better than Anderson Silva, better than GSP, better than John Jones. Like, she's been a champion more days than anybody else in UFC history.
That's something. Double champ, too. She's the longest reigning double champ, too. There have been a lot of double champs in the UFC. Not many of them have held on to both belts and defended both belts. She's done both. Even though the featherweight division's not really there, still, she's the champion in both weight divisions and has defended at both weight classes. So, pretty impressive. Not to mention, she beat Ronda Rousey, Cyborg, Valentina Shevchenko, Miesha Tate, Juliana Pena, Jermaine Durandamy. I mean, just the best of the best. She beat everybody. And Irene Aldana was not supposed to be the opponent here. It was supposed to be Juliana Pena. In the trilogy fight, Juliana got hurt. Aldana stepped in. Aldana was supposed to fight Raquel Pennington a couple weeks ago. If she beat Pennington, she was probably going to get a title shot, but not clear. Aldana coming off a win over Macy Chiasson, and she beat her with an up kick to the body. It was a liver shot that she got from the bottom. It was an up kick. It was kind of a fluky finish in a fight that she was losing. And, you know, I was watching that fight, I think yesterday, the Aldana Chiasson fight, and, you know, Aldana looked good. Her boxing is crisp. but that takedown defense was not there. And if I saw that, I'd bet Amanda Nunes saw that too. And she's pretty good at MMA everywhere. So look for takedowns, look for the ground and pound, look for a submission or a TKO. Game. I think Amanda's going to finish her. I think she's going to beat her up. And Arini might give up a submission, like a rear naked choke, just kind of turtle up and get choked out. She might just get pounded out with TKO, punches and stuff. But I think Amanda Nunes wins this fight. I think it's a slam dunk. I think Aldana's really good standing up. Her boxing is really sharp. She trains with the world champion at 125 pounds, right, who beat Valentina. Her name is escaping me. I got no names tonight. What the hell?
And if you look at her knockouts, man, she's beat like Caitlin Vieira.
Yeah, Fred, how come you're not? No one's helping me. Alexa Grasso. Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah.
AJ couldn't help me either.
Girl.
Yeah, Grasso, who is the world champion. Remember she beat Valentina back in March?
Yep.
I feel like people forgot about that. But Valentina's not champion again. It's Grasso. And Grasso trains here with Irene Aldana in Mexico. But I don't think it's going to happen again for that team. I think that Amanda Nunes is different, and I think Irene Aldana is going to find out. Now, she may get some success early, light up Amanda. She's got really fast hands, and they're sharp. But I don't think she has the size and power to really do damage to Amanda Nunes. I think Amanda's going to come in knowing what to do, and she's going to take out Irene Aldana. They're the same age. It's not like Aldana is some 29-year-old contender coming up, and Amanda's 35, and she's kind of on the way out. They're the same age. I have been hearing Amanda's going to retire after this fight, though. Win or lose, I think she's going to retire. And it makes sense to me. I think she probably does retire. But when fighters are thinking about retirement and like on their way to retire, a lot of times they lose on the way out. A lot of times if you're thinking about retirement, if you're kind of not all the way in, you lose that last fight. So I'm very confident in Amanda Nunes, but all this retirement talk has got me a little bit worried.
Nervous.
Yeah, I mean,
but
when you're retiring, you're kind of on the way out, and maybe you're not all the way training, and maybe you're not so into it. Maybe there's a reason you're retired. Maybe your neck is all fucked up. You never know.
Maybe it's her family life, and the thing is that
She's
with
having
Amanda,
another kid.
Exactly, and the thing with Amanda is that I agree with your saying, Dave, in some sense, when people are retiring, because there's a reason for it. Maybe the drive isn't there as it used to be. You're looking at your career and you're still healthy and whatnot, and you can walk away and walk and still have a good life. The difference with Amanda is she's the type of fighter that has dominated like many divisions and been on top. And this is the type of fighter that if she's going to retire, it's going to be retiring with a win. So she's going to lay it all down. She's dominant to begin with, and I really believe this is probably her last fight, and she's going to come out like guns blazing. She's going to lay it all down, and I think it's going to be a quick fight. I think it's going to be a TKO, like you said. I think it's going to be too overwhelming. She's not going to stand there and box, and she's going to probably put her in the clinch game and take it from there. Like, there's no way, I can see Amanda losing. We saw that with Pena, but there was many factors to why she lost. She shouldn't even been fighting at that point, but shit happens, but that's what champs do. They come back from a really bad loss, and you realize that bad loss was based on something, COVID, busted shoulder, all kinds of weird, health issues. That was then. Amanda's retiring on Saturday. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm pretty confident that it will be with a win. And she's going to go down as the greatest female fighter in the UFC. And it's going to be hard to replace someone like her in, the bantamweight or the featherweight division. Who are you going to have as that face? When you see Amanda there, man, it's the Lion, man. Everybody knows her. Everybody. And you know what? She's going to sell out, Vancouver. And they're going there because it's Amanda time, and that's the problem.
Sorry,
Dave,
but no.
You know what? What do you mean no?
They're going there to see Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush. That's what most
you're
fight fans
going there,
are tuning
but
in for.
everybody knows
Let's
Amanda.
be honest.
They're going because it's a UFC event.
Yep.
It's a UFC event.
Amanda Nunes
but
hasn't
still,
been
wouldn't
a huge seller for the UFC. They have to. I mean, come on.
But it would
If
have been
this was
great to see Amanda.
If this was a really big fight, it'd be in Las Vegas.
True. But you know what? They promised that they would be back in Canada, so here it is.
And they give you a B-level title fight. They give you Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, it's not like the great... Look, I'd love to be watching Amanda. As a fight fan, I want to see her fight. And if it is her last fight, I want to be there.
We'll watch it with you Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us here on the Ringside Report Network for the UFC 289 watch-along. Fred might be here. AJ will be here.
Listen, man,
Right?
It wouldn't have been great if she could retire in Brazil. That would have been a much better send-off, But I think Canada it is, man. She's coming here.
I'm
George
surprised
St. Pierre will
she's
be
not
in the
a
house.
bigger favorite. When I saw the odds, I was surprised she's not a bigger favorite, man. This is Amanda Nunes. She's went through everybody in the division, and I expect her to win again. I'd be very surprised if she loses. So,
but there's a lot, like Dave said, man. A lot of people are on the side of she's talking retirement. It looks like it really is her last fight. What kind of motivation does she have? So everything is factoring on that. And again, man. Again, on all the betting lines, I keep seeing this might be the upset again. This is another penna in the making. Yeah, it could happen. Everybody has a puncher's chance. But let me tell you, the people forget, man, how dominant Amanda Nunes was when she met up with Penna again. This shit won't happen, dude. You could beat Cyborg. You could beat all kinds of people. You're not going to be losing your last fight, to Aldana. Amanda Nunes, man, the greatest female fighter that ever stepped into the octagon.
Well, we'll see what happens on Saturday. Hopefully, Aldana makes weight tomorrow. She's missed weight twice in her UFC career already. Her past two fights, last fight was at 140 pounds. The fight before it was a catch weight. The fight before that was at 139.5 because Aldana missed weight. So she hasn't actually made championship weight in a couple of years now. So hopefully she's able to hit the scale at 135 tomorrow morning so we could get this fight official for UFC 289 in Vancouver. We'll be watching the pay-per-view with you 10 p.m. Eastern Time coming up Saturday night. Nunes, Aldana, Oliveira, Dariush. We're all going with Amanda, who is the Bet99 favorite, minus 334. Aldana plus 260, the underdog. I see this fight. I'm having trouble picking how it's going to go. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 132. Under 2.5 rounds, plus 105. I could see it going under. I could see it going under 2.5 rounds. I could see Amanda finishing her within the first 12 minutes of the fight. Plus 105, I could see that. Amanda Nunes by KO, plus 125. Amanda Nunes by decision, plus 250. Amanda Nunes by submission, plus 450. I could see the submission. She doesn't get a lot of submissions in her career, but I could see that. Plus 450, not bad. Knockout, though, 13 of her 22 wins by knockout. That seems like the most likely outcome. A TKO win for Amanda Nunes on the ground. I think that's how it goes down. We'll see Saturday night. AJ, you are the parlay king. We should mention a couple Canadians that are fighting on this card before we get to your parlay. I'm very excited. We have Mike Malott fighting out of Burlington, Ontario. He'll take on Adam Fuggett. We have Fuggett. Marc-André Barriot fighting out of Gatineau, Quebec. He is taking on your boy Eric Anders. We have Jasmine Jasuda Vicious, also a Canadian fighter. She takes on Miranda Maverick. Eamon Zahabi from right here in Montreal takes on Arichi Lang. Kyle Nelson out of Huntsville, Ontario. He takes on Blake Builder. And I think that's it for the Canadian content, although I'm not really familiar with the two opening fights here on the Fight Night or Fight Pass prelims. Let me tell you who's fighting on that one. UFC 289 Fight Pass prelims, no Canadians. David Dvorak from some country, Steve Urseg from Australia, Maria Oliveira from Brazil, and Diana Belbita from I don't know that flag. Romania, maybe? I don't know. All right, AJ, parlay. What do you got?
Let me break it down, man.
Break it down.
Break it down, baby. So listen, I'm gonna definitely go with Amanda Nunes. I don't think I'm gonna ever pick against her, which I never did. Me and Freddie laid it out. We did lose that time when you made people a lot of money with Pena winning. Again, it was the fluke of all flukes. But it was the fluke of all flukes. She was fighting a fighter with one arm.
They're 1-1. They're 1-1.
Yeah. Well, to me,
Pena
I always look at the
finish.
first.
Amanda couldn't finish her.
Listen, in the first round of the Pena fight, when she lost, it was a 10-8 round. The first round was a 10-8, and then she just couldn't lay it out, man. So imagine that. Somebody without a shoulder, COVID issues.
10-8 to 10-0. Who do you think wins that one? The second round was a 10-0. Right. When you finish, it's over.
You're right.
Mercy rule.
But it was with a broken horse there, man. So that'll never happen again. So Amanda's definitely going to be...
Then she beat her up for 25 minutes.
Couldn't put her away, though. Couldn't put her away.
Well,
couldn't finish the deal.
She wanted to make her suffer, Dave. That's what you didn't realize.
Didn't
Amanda
have her
Nunes
in the death position like Juliana had Amanda.
Well, that was easy, man. She had a busted shoulder.
If the ref doesn't come in, Amanda doesn't survive. All right, what do you got?
And
Amanda,
then I'm going with Beneil Dariush, man.
Okay.
So Beneil Dariush is my next pick. I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be the wrestling game that's going to win it. He's a salty dog, man. So underrated, and he's going to come out. Then I'm going to go with my man Mike Mallet. Fuck it. Is not going to do it on that night. I think Mike Mallet is going to be able to pull it off. If he does, it'll probably be by submission. Super strong fighter. Then who was on that one? I had, let me just double check. I had the Dan Ige fight against Nate Landwehr. Remember Nate? We've seen him fight a few times. This guy I like him, man. He's good. Dan Ige, man, there's one thing with Dan Ige. Don't bet against him in his early days of fighting because he always managed to get a win. But he goes hot and cold, man. And, he's lost 4 of his last 6. So this is the thing, man. It's not the same Dan Ige of the past. He lost against some big names, But Landwehr, man, he's wild. If he doesn't get caught, he's going to win this fight, and I think he will, man. But, TKO is happening in that fight. Then I'm going to go with this is a tough one because, I took Nate Landwehr, man.
Landwehr. Nate the Train. Okay.
The Train, man. The Train is coming in, man.
Choo-choo.
And then, choo-choo, man. Night Train. And then this is a tough fight for me, because Eric Anders, I have a lot of respect for Eric Anders. Came on our show, gave us his time, Roll Tide. Yay! But unfortunately, his tide is going to be washed out.
Yay.
I think Marc-André Barriault, man, is too tough of a guy for...
Yay.
Yeah, poor Roll Tide, man. I think Marc-André Barriaux is going to be too much for him when it comes to the stand-up, the power, the intensity. I mean, this is going to be a fun fight, but it's the ground game, man. The ground game is the biggest problem for Anders. Anders is only 3-3 in his last 6. And Barriaux, man, he's been on fire. You know what? He's fighting in Canada. There's going to be a lot of his friends, a lot of his family there to watch him. He's going to put it on the line. Pump up the battery at 100% because Barriaux is coming out with the win.
I mean, it's not easy to travel from Montreal to Vancouver. You say his friends are going to be there.
No, there's a lot. Sure. Listen, man,
I'm not sure how many friends are actually going to be there. But.
Well, he has a lot. Listen, man, he's been across Canada training with different Canadian camps and whatnot. He has a good following, and I'm sure his family, him fighting in Canada. When are they going to come back to UFC, to Canada? When are they coming back to Montreal, Toronto? They're in Vancouver. It's you got to take advantage of that because all the next fights for Barriaux might be in the U.S.
Yeah. So is that your parlay? Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done, man.
Okay. What do we have? We've got Amanda Nunes, minus 334. Beneil Dariush, minus 148. Mike Malott, minus 213. Nate the Train Landwehr, plus 200. That's the big underdog pick for AJ on this main card. And Marc-André Barriaux, minus 137. $20 gets you 347.40.
Ooh,
wow.
Nice.
Should we bet AJ's parlay
like
this
that.
week, Fred? I don't know. That's a decent payout. Barrio, Landwehr, Malat, Dariush, and Nunes. That's Team AJ. It's not bad. It's not
And
bad
I'm
at
on
all.
fire, man. Listen, the Landwehr is the only one where, like, if Ige decides to step out and become like Ige of the early days, it could be hard, but it's going to be a tough fight. This guy he's too intense. He's too wild, man. Like I said, if he doesn't get caught, he's going to be too much for Ige. Too much.
All
I'm
right.
standing with my picks.
Freddie, you got a parlay?
I guess so, man. I guess
You want me to do one first?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay. I'm going to give you a couple of fights here. Let's go with... This is actually not an easy card to pick. I don't love this card as far as betting goes. But I'm going to go with... Goddamn, this is tough. I'm going to go with a 2-fight parlay. I'm keeping it simple for you. Because that's all I got. All right, all I have is 2 fights. I've got Chris Curtis, who I've bet a lot on, who's made me money. Plus 128, the underdog here over Nasruddin Imavov. I think Curtis gets the win, possibly a knockout. He's got great hands, really good boxing. And Amanda Nunes in the main event, minus 334. $20 gets you 59.43. It is nowhere near the payout of AJ.
Not bad.
It is not as fun. It's not as exciting. But I feel like it's the best 2-fight parlay I can give you. And I'm not going to give you a 5-fight parlay but I will tell you that I like. Let me give you some other bets that I like. I like Ayman Zahabi. Boom, minus 105 over Arichi Lang. I think Ayman's going to pull it off. I also like Marc-Andre Barriot over Eric Anders. So if you want to make that a super parlay, you could do that and do a big
Yeah,
team.
Ayman, he hasn't fought in a long time, but one thing for sure, man, his conditioning and whatnot is up there. I know his conditioning coach, Luigi, from here in NDG, man. Let me tell you, Ayman looks solid, and I agree with you on that one.
So I might separate these bets, go with Chris Curtis as a solo bet. But I like this as a 4-fight parlay, too. I'll give you a 4-fight parlay. I give you a 2-fight, but I can add in Barrio and Ayman with some Quebec flavor. $20 will get you 207.97 with the 4-fight parlay. So that's not bad. That's not bad. All right?
Yeah.
Raising the stakes.
That's
Fred,
good, man.
your turn. What do you got? What do you got for the people?
All right.
Give them some winners.
All right, the people might not like me around here, but that's all right. I can live with that.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I got Amanda Nunes, Eric Anders, and Ayman Zahabi.
What?
Oh, interesting.
Eric Anders. Wow. Freddie.
He's a big guy, man. He's a big guy.
He is, man.
He's gonna be something
Roll
to
Tide,
handle
man.
for Barrio.
I think Barrio's got better cardio, and I think he's a little quicker.
Ground game. Well, his ground game is it's going to be hard, man.
There you go. There's Team Fred. Amanda Nunes, Eric Anders, and Ayman Zahabi. $20 it gets you 109.15 over at bet99.com.
Nice.
That's Team Fred. Zahabi,
Nice.
Anders, and Nunes. Not bad.
Roll Tide.
All right. You guys see Ultimate Fighter this week? AJ, you see that?
Yeah.
Conor McGregor's
Poor Conor, man.
Conor McGregor's fighter lost again. Team Conor 0-2, and they're getting stopped quick.
Yeah, he got stopped, man, and it didn't look good, man. It was knee to the eye, and that was it. Bonne nuit. Yeah, it's not looking good for Conor.
Did you say he was the better coach?
He did say that.
AJ,
I did
you
say
said
that.
So what's happening?
It's just
Give us
that
some
the guys
analysis.
are coming out. Yeah, the guy. Listen, man, it was a flying knee. It's not easy, but to defend that. But yeah, I mean, it's only week 2. There's still a lot of fights left. We'll see what Conor does, man. Conor's always he's involved, man. He's there. Mind you, he looked a little tired when he was sparring.
Is he
Other than
is
that,
he talking a lot?
I was like, what's that? Yeah, he's talking
Is he
shit. There's no
talking
doubt
a
about
lot
it.
of shit?
Yeah, it was just that his sparring part where he kind of gassed out, and I'm like, "Eesh, okay, I'm kind
Connor
of
did?
surprised that he get. Yeah, did you see that, Dave? He was kind of gassing when he was training,
I didn't notice
when
that.
he was sparring with them. Yeah, I
No.
did. I'm like, "Eesh." Maybe it's you know, his muscles, man, because he's so much bigger than he was. I mean, look at him, man. He looks like a. You know what? Every time I take a look at him, I'm like, who does he remind me of? Connor, obviously Conor McGregor, but I'm like, no, today's Connor as opposed to like a couple of years to Connor, you would recognize Connor. But now Connor, I'm like, who does he remind me of? And I'm like, man, he looks like a small version of Brock Lesnar, man. You look at Brock Lesnar and you put Connor now and you put them together, they almost look like they're from the same family. I swear, dude. Take a look at it. Every time I look at Connor now, I'm like, he reminds me of a miniature Brock. It's weird, man.
I don't see
don't
it.
I'm
see
telling you. You got take a look, man. I'm telling you. There's something there, man. Brock with the beard and his little little hair thing. Connor with his beard and his hair. I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
All right. I don't see
He
it.
doesn't look like the same Connor. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, he looks big. He still isn't fighting. There's no fight. There's no fight with Michael Chandler. They haven't announced anything. As far as I know, he's not in the USADA testing pool, but he is on the Ultimate Fighter, and the ratings apparently for the first episode were not very good, like half or even a third of the ratings that Conor and Uriah Faber did the first time Conor coached the Ultimate Fighter. So what Fred was saying, I think, is last week Fred was saying, don't care about Conor anymore. He's not as relevant. He doesn't really make a difference. And I think he's right about that. The ratings prove that Fred was right. Like, Conor may still be somebody that we want to watch, AJ, but I think a lot of the people that wanted to watch Conor have dropped off, and Fred is, among them. It's just a lot of people are kind of tired of the act. And the further away we get from peak Conor when he was winning fights and knocking people out and he was on win streaks, it's people are kind of losing patience and losing interest with this guy who's just kind of, I hate to say it, but he's kind of a shell of his former self, right? Like the Conor McGregor that was knocking out Jose Aldo and Eddie Alvarez is not the same Conor McGregor that got beat up by Khabib or Dustin Poirier.
And let me tell you one thing. That Eddie Alvarez fight was in 2016. That Nate Diaz fight also was in 2016. That's 7 years ago. So, just imagine, I don't know, 7 years ago, people that were maybe 15, 16, they didn't really follow McGregor, and now they're 22, 23, and they don't care about McGregor. He's losing. The more years you pass, the more new fans of the sport are coming in and don't really know you. They'll think of you as, who's this old guy that had some past glory. And that's pretty much where we are with Conor. I think a lot of people look at him like, oh, his glory is in the past. Of course, he still has his fans. He's still going to bring some eyeballs, but he's not that cultural phenomenon that he once was.
Yep. And,
but that goes with every fighter, right?
Yeah.
Right, Dave, I'm just sorry to jump in there, but if
John
you look
Jones.
John Jones, but you look at guys like George St. Pierre, one of the most recognizable athletes, that was walking at one point.
No,
I mean, everybody knows George.
Total difference. Let me tell you the difference between
is.
George and Conor McGregor. George St. Pierre, the people that know who George St. Pierre was in the UFC remember him fondly with respect because the legacy is intact. Because his legacy is untarnished. His last fight was a win for the middleweight championship. His last fight, he moved up a weight class, became double champ, and then walked away. Conor McGregor,
true.
The thing is, the longer time passes and the more losses and the more we see him beat up and belligerent, the more people will remember this version of Conor. And they'll forget about the old version of Conor, and the legacy won't be there anymore. And I've heard Conor talk, I watched his Netflix documentary, and he's saying, I'm fighting for my legacy. I want to break all the records in the UFC, all the championships, all this stuff. And I'm watching this going, dude, you're not going to be able to do that. And the more you try, the further you'll get from keeping your legacy in a place where people remember you as this great fighter, and they're just going to remember you as this kind of joke. Like, a lot of people... I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you guys a really good example. Mike Tyson. I was not alive when Mike Tyson was kicking people's asses and was scary. The only version of Mike Tyson that I know and like my impression of Mike Tyson is this goofy kind of messed up guy who was in The Hangover, who's the caricature of Mike Tyson. We just lost the Iron Sheik. You know, people's understanding of Iron Sheik is who they remember him as, which is fucking Hulk Hogan, fucking bullshit, Beetlejuice, you know, the crazy belligerent character that he became. You forget that he was actually a very highly decorated Greco-Roman wrestler who went for the Iranian national team, who moved to the United States and became the Olympic coach, one of the Olympic coaches for the 1972 men's American wrestling team. This guy was a legitimate athlete. He was a legitimate professional wrestler, but a lot of people remember him as this weird character that he became later, and that's what's happening to Conor McGregor. He's becoming the Iron Sheik.
A clown, a buffoon, basically. And I say that with the most respect I can, but that's what it was at the end, you know, saying a bunch of stupid stuff just to get people riled up. And it works. It works. Some people will get riled up behind that. But as far as legacy, that's not how you get a legacy. That's how you end up with people thinking like you're a little bit of a clown because you're not about winning and taking the sport seriously. So, look, I hope Conor makes it back, but I don't believe it. And as far as his stardom, the peak is in the past. If he doesn't start winning again and consistently winning, he's never going to see that peak again, unfortunately. Like, he's still going to be a huge star. He's probably going to do the best numbers for the UFC, but he won't do the numbers that he used to do.
Like, Mike Tyson, to me, he's very successful. He's very famous. He's maybe as famous now as he's ever been, right? He had a thing on Broadway. He's had TV shows. He's got a podcast. He's got weed that he sells. He's got all these things. He's very successful. He's doing well, but I don't think of him as badass boxer Mike Tyson. I think of him as the guy that bit Holyfield's ear and the guy that's, you know, sells weed and goes on Joe Rogan. Like, that's who Mike Tyson is to me. And when I think of him, that's my recollection because I wasn't born in like 1984 when he was knocking people's heads off, right? So I think a lot of people's impression of Conor McGregor, like Fred's talking about, the 22-year-olds of today who were maybe not aware of what Conor was doing 7-8 years ago when he was really smashing people, will only see kind of this character, this caricature of who Conor used to be. We'll remember that this guy was actually a killer at one time, but I think most people, as time goes on, are just going to remember Conor as this character who happened to be a fighter. Like, I see Mike Tyson as a character, a celebrity who happened to have boxed at one point and been pretty good.
Dave, I'm going to tell you one thing with Mike Tyson. I saw Tyson fight. You know,
I know you're old as fuck. I know, I get it.
Listen, you know, and Mike Tyson was one thing. Like when he came out and he was like the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. No, but
that's
hold on
not
a
what he's talking about. Dave said he wasn't alive back then.
Yeah, so I don't remember it. I don't have a recollection of it. You know,
that's his exact point.
You know, and you're right, and I'm just gonna finish here. Is that I agree with you because when I think of Mike Tyson, I think of you're gonna die if you go into a ring with him. I mean, Mike Tyson was so feared that
I know
that people walk into the ring and they've already lost.
He doesn't get my point.
They looked over on the other side. I do get your point. Your point is this: is that Mike Tyson is still relevant, regardless of what you think on your perspective of Mike Tyson and my perspective of Mike Tyson. When I think of Mike Tyson, I think killer. When you look at Mike Tyson, you look at him as a guy who's been. Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, but here, let me give you a different example.
I'll give you the Muhammad Ali example.
When I think Muhammad Ali, I think of him as the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time because the legacy and the respect and how he carried
But at the
himself and
same
the
time,
marketing
Dave-
around him, he was the guy, you know?
But at the same time, Dave, some people like boxing fans will remember him losing to Leon Spinks and to
Sure.
Larry Holmes and to Trevor Burbick. And you know, those, like, it's all about when were you really interested in this sport? And to a lot of people, well, McGregor's from the past now. So if he doesn't have success today, he's living on past glory. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but we saw that with Anderson Silva as well, right? Like, this is the thing, and I agree with
Exactly.
you, Dave. I don't want to let go of Conor yet. I'm still holding on to the Conor dream because I believe in Conor. The thing is that Conor
Dude,
is the
you're
smartest
still
fighter
holding
in
on
MMA.
to the
Listen,
Fedor dream.
but Fedor, man, one of the greatest.
Yeah,
of
but
all
when
time.
he fights,
You're
you're
right.
like, he's going to win, guys. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on. You
But
hold
Sorry,
on
I
to...
still believe in BJ
Oh,
Penn.
Exactly.
I
You know
love
what I'm
BJ
saying?
Penn.
We're
I
old
love
guys who
BJ,
want to
man.
see our old favorites win
Who got it?
because it
The only
reminds
guy-
us of when
BJ
we were younger and things were
Yeah,
different.
but these guys were exceptional. You're talking about BJ Penn. BJ Penn, a guy who got his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 3 years, who was smashing black belts, winning
Yeah.
Not only
golds
that, he was a
upon golds.
champion, Mundial champion.
Yeah, he was a
after
champion.
3 years.
That's what I'm saying is in 3
Yeah,
years.
but let's be
man, it
honest,
takes
guys.
10
Nobody was
years
doing
minimum.
jiu-jitsu back then. Let's be real.
Yeah, but
Well,
still,
but
to
be-
be
you know,
champion
he was
after,
beating-
I'm
what
joking,
are you
I'm
talking
joking.
about?
people
Well,
were
it's
doing
not-
jiu-jitsu
beating
for
killers.
much longer than 3 years, and he
Yeah,
beat them all.
I know, but it's not
Yeah.
like it is now. You know what I mean? Like it
No,
was
but
kinda-
but going back to what you're saying, Muhammad Ali, there was something special about him, man. You know, him fighting George Foreman was incredible. Just a storyline. You're talking about Mike Tyson, man, who was like just a phenomenon, a guy who came from nowhere to become a world champion. Conor McGregor is that guy. They're making movies about him.
Yeah.
I understand that he still has that window where he needs a win. A lot of fighters are probably saying right now, or have said that, you know, Conor is done. He's not going to fight Chandler and it's over. And Conor has bigger and better things. But Conor still tries to stay relevant because deep down
No,
inside,
we're at
that
the
guy's
part
still a
of his
fighter, man.
career.
He's still a
We're
fighter.
at the part of his career where we're gonna have a biopic on him. That's the
Yeah.
future about Conor.
We already
That's
had
the-
a biopic.
the next-
It was on Netflix. When they do a
Yeah.
4-part miniseries about you and your career, shit is a wrap, dude. It's over. Netflix is trying
Yeah,
to give you a
exactly.
hint.
You
Come
got a
on, man.
point there.
You don't
But
do
I'm
you don't do a
hoping-
30 for 30 on a guy when he's in the prime of his career. You do that shit when it's over.
Good
Yep.
point, man. You're right.
Everybody
But
knows that the
listen-
McGregor career is over except for Conor. All right?
Yeah,
Ti-
man.
time
but
to
don't-
cash
but-
in on the nostalgia.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
They're going
but
to
the
cash
thing
it.
is that-
And that's the thing. He
Yeah.
says he's fighting for legacy. Well, he might be fighting for legacy in his mind. Everybody around him is just saying, yeah, the legacy, the legacy. Meanwhile, they're just counting the money. They're like, yeah, legacy. Good. Because he'll sell because he's a star and he talks good shit. And people will buy into it probably for another 2 to 3 fights. And then his UFC career will wrap up and he'll do boxing and people might buy into it for another 2 to 3 fights. Depends if he wins in boxing against one of those guys. You know, like maybe he gets a win in boxing against a Nate Diaz or a Jake Paul and the interest revives and he has a little run. But his time at the top of MMA seems long over. And a fight with Michael Chandler seems way too hard for him at this point. I don't believe it. I think he gets obliterated.
Well,
And
look,
it's
the
gonna
way he
be
pushed
embarrassing.
Chandler,
I think it's gonna be embarrassing.
The way he pushed Chandler in the tough episodes, I mean, he set them across the room literally. Connor's no joke, man. Let's not forget that. You know, regardless of what's transpired, I mean, the guy had his leg broken in half, and here he is, man, and he's back in the game. We saw that with Anderson Silva. Yes, he came back, but Anderson Silva already at that point was like really past his prime. Conor still has that window. He still has that window. And you know what? I hope he succeeds, man. I really do. Because it's hard to take away someone as entertaining as a Conor McGregor in any sport. It's hard, man. In any sport, man, it's hard. When Wayne Gretzky left, it was hard to replace a guy at that level. You had Mario Lemieux, Then you had Sidney Crosby, but that came in many, many, many years after. We're going to see another guy like Conor down the road who's going to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. But you know what? It's not going to happen right away, dude. I'm just saying it keeps the sport I like interesting
MMA
for the
will survive.
So
non-fans.
yeah, MMA will always
It
survive
will
with or
survive,
without Conor.
100%.
So Chris Weidman, the guy that beat Anderson Silva, we haven't seen him in 2 years because he broke his leg. Very similar to
Yep.
how Conor did,
Crazy,
right?
eh?
Weidman broke his leg, similar to Anderson did, similar to how Conor did, and it was in that Uriah Hall fight. And Weidman is actually set to return for the first time in over 2 years in August at UFC 292 against Brad Tavares. So hopefully Weidman does well, and we see how he does.
And he says that he wants to throw a leg kick as the first strike, which I don't think is smart. You shouldn't tell your strategy because that guy's going to be checking it. So, man, I'm not sure you want to do that.
Get that knee into that and then be
exactly.
in big trouble.
Don't call your strategy, Chris.
Yeah. And he's 38 years old,
Yeah.
so he's not in the prime of his fighting career. But he's fighting Brad Tavares, who's also been around for a while. So wishing good luck to Chris Weidman. I always like Chris Weidman, like to see him come back from that injury. And hopefully Conor can come back from his leg break and beat Michael Chandler and beat a bunch of guys and set up a big fight with Islam Makhachev and beat him and then call Khabib out and have a rematch with him and make tons of money and have a great fairy tale ending to his career. But this is the fight game, and I've seen too many stories go, and they don't end like that. There's no happily ever after in the fight game. There's get out before you get smashed, or get smashed a bunch of times on the way out. It's like get out when people are like, oh, but he's still good. Why is he quitting? Or you get out after you've taken several beatings.
Yeah, that's why there's two guys. You got Khabib and you got GSP, man. They were just smart. I think Khabib even smarter than George in some sense. But regardless,
I don't know. I think the smartest one is John Jones. Take a few years off here, take a few years off there, extend the career, keep it going. Do cocaine.
Have fun with hookers.
Do whatever
Shoot
you
at
want.
homeless people.
Just
man.
Run into people with your car drunkenly, run away from the scene, do whatever you want. But in the meantime, you're the most dominant champion, most dominant fighter in the history of the game for over a decade. Greatest of all time, undeniable, undisputed, double champ, light heavyweight, just the best, and you really can't fuck with him. That's the crazy part about John Jones is that he's managed to not only be a massive star, but also stay on top. He's gone off the rails. He's gone to the rails. He's done everything, and somehow he's managed to stay the greatest fighter in the world. He's the exception to every rule, right? He's just he's a freak. There's there's just only one John Jones, and he's incredible. But I think a lot of guys see John Jones and they're Conor and other people think they can beat John Jones, but there's only one.
No,
they say there's only one Conor McGregor. I think there's only one John Jones.
Well, man, the things that he's done, and myself, I've always been pretty hard on John Jones, man. But when you become the heavyweight champion in combat sports, man, you can't deny that. No matter how much you are the baddest man on the planet, there's no doubt about it, man. If it's really... mano a mano, man. If it's the Coliseum in Rome, and you put John Jones against anybody. Minus weapons. Even with weapons, I think John Jones
with weapons, he's good with guns and shit too.
Yeah, he's pretty good, man. That's it. The homeless guy knows, man. But listen,
John Jones versus Spartacus.
Spartacus is down, man. He's done.
John Jones beating anybody. I'm taking John Jones in any fight with anybody throughout history forever.
Goliath.
Yeah. I wish he would fight again this year. I thought he was going to fight this summer, but it seems more and more unlikely that John Jones will fight again this year. And it seems more and more unlikely that Conor McGregor will fight this year. So I don't know what we have to look forward to here, guys. What are the big fights? I don't know. Poirier and Gaethje, I guess. That'll be fun.
Okay, so inform me. I read that maybe Khamzat's fighting Usman.
There was talk. What? I don't know if that's actually happening.
I hope that happens. That's a good fight. That's a fight I want to see.
That's a fight to make. Apparently Dana White doesn't want it.
Oh, fuck you, Dana.
Yeah. I don't know why they haven't made that fight, because I want to see Khamzat fight. These are the types of fights.
That's a number one contender fight.
Yeah, that's a money fight. I want to see that. I don't know what else the UFC is giving me right now, but like this,
I don't know, man.
this
I
main
heard,
event here this weekend, not great. What's a UFC 290 main event? UFC 290 main event is Volkanovski and Yair, and then Brandon Moreno and Pantoja. Double championship main event.
Yeah.
That doesn't do much for me,
not
right?
Yeah,
UFC
it's not
291.
enough.
UFC 291, Dustin Poirier, Justin
That's a
Gaethje
good
for that
one.
fake-ass BMF belt.
That's a good fight.
UFC 292, Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley. That's kind of fun. But I don't know. I mean, they're good fights, but they don't, like, it's not Conor McGregor or John Jones. UFC 293, September 10th in Sydney, Australia. I don't know what the hell that's going to be. Maybe Israel Adesanya against somebody?
John
Drake-
Jones versus Pavlovich.
I think it'll be Dreykus against Israel or Whitaker against Israel. I think the winner of the Dreykus-Whitaker fight will probably fight Israel in Australia. I think that's what they're going to do. They're not going to do John Jones in Australia. John Jones would be in Vegas. UFC 294 or in Abu Dhabi. UFC 294 in October set for Abu Dhabi. Let's see. Do they have UFC 295 venue? No venue for that. So they do have venues all the way for UFC 294 in October. I could see John Jones fighting Stipe there, but maybe UFC 295, probably Madison Square Garden, November, right? They do the Garden
would make
usually. They do the Garden usually in November. John Jones, Stipe at the Garden, like, yeah. Unless you get Conor. Unless Conor can get himself drug tested and clean and ready to go by November. Because Conor Michael Chandler at Madison Square Garden is, that's the fight. It's a big one.
Yeah. And then
But they need to
like
get some of those fights going, man.
Fight on that.
Like, that's what I want to see
man,
this year,
You want to see
me
what?
that.
Logan Paul against, like, Nick Diaz?
No, I don't give a shit about
I'm
that.
telling
I
you.
want to see John Jones fight again. I want to see Conor fight. I want to see, the big guns. Give me some big ones.
Yeah. Yeah. But most people would want to see a Diaz against a Logan Paul, man. I'm telling you. He's training MMA, man, with Israel.
Mm-hmm.
There's something
It's going to
up
be
there,
boxing, though, Diaz and Logan Paul in August, right? Early August.
I have a feeling that it's going to end up being in the MMA.
Jake Paul. Right, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz are fighting boxing.
Logan is fighting Nate Diaz in anything.
No. Logan's not fighting. He's just training grappling with some people. But who cares?
With Israel, I don't know, man.
Okay.
Pretty impressive.
Do you know who Khalees is?
A valise, like a luggage in
Bill
French?
Murray apparently is dating Khalees, and people are very surprised about this.
Bill Murray.
Who's
You're
that?
talking Caddyshack?
Khalees,
You're talking Bill Murray's Saturday Night Live?
Khalees is a singer. She did that song, Milkshake. My milkshake brings other boys to the yard. You know what? You know that one?
How does it go?
Khalees,
For
man.
real? How old is she?
43.
Okay.
Damn.
Bill Murray
Bill
is
Murray is not
72.
the most handsome guy in the world. Dude, he's not the most handsome guy in the world, man.
I'm a little
funny,
surprised.
I'm just saying.
People
Sorry,
are
Bill,
surprised. That's why it's a story, because people are surprised. It's a couple that people did not expect happening.
Yeah,
Khalees-
Bill Murray?
Khalees used to be married
Let me see
to
what Khalees
Nas.
looks like. Who the hell is Schnoz?
You know what I mean? She was married to
Schnoz.
Nas. I think she has a couple of kids with Nas. And
Who the
now
hell are
she's
you
dating
talking
Bill
about?
Murray. Like, how do you go from
I know Bill
Nas?
Murray.
How do you go from Nasty Nas, Nasir Jones to Bill Murray?
Bro, can you put up pictures here so we can, like, the people that don't know what the hell you're talking about could understand? Like, I know Bill Murray. Caddyshack. Don't drop O. Henry in the pool kind of thing. I know that kind of stuff. Let's see this. Let me be Dr. Phil, I'll tell you.
Khalees. Apparently
What?
This is them
Are you sure it's
together.
not her caretaker?
Jesus, AJ. She's like a very successful.
Yeah,
musician.
there's no way she's with that guy, man. Come on, Bill Murray, man. Sorry, man.
I think she's
Nah,
dating
man.
Bill Murray. is
Him
what I'm
and John
trying to tell
Jones
you.
would have a crazy night together. No, c'est pas possible, David. C'est pas possible.
Her husband died of stomach cancer. Her last husband.
I'm not.
Jeez.
I'm not sure why we care that much about Bill Murray, and
I do, man. Bill Murray is one of the legends of comedy, man.
so just be happy for him.
See, this is
Well, I don't know
Nas.
what's up with all these old guys.
This is Nas.
Oh, Schnoz.
You don't know Nas? AJ
What's
doesn't
your
know
favorite
Nas.
Nas song?
AJ, what's your
looks
favorite
like
Nas song? Hey AJ, what's the best Nas album?
Nas?
I mean, it's a really easy one. If you know anything
okay.
about Nas, there's only one album to say. And if you say anything but the one that I'm about, to tell you, you're wrong. But AJ, what's your favorite Nas album? What's your favorite Nas song?
One mic.
Oh, come on.
Back in Black.
What? Fred, did you just say one
What's that?
mic? Fred, what's your favorite
That's
Nas
a good
song?
That's a good song.
Bro.
What are you talking about?
Stillmatic? Stillmatic? You got to go Illmatic. If anything off Illmatic is what you need to go with, man.
That one mic
What is
song
that?
is
Like
very good.
utensils, like
What's that Jay-Z
refrigerators and
disc
stoves?
called? I forget the title of the Jay-Z disc, but that's a good one.
Ether.
He looks like Kanye,
Yeah,
that Nas.
exactly.
Ether.
But isn't that
Will
also from Stillmatic?
Not lose.
Ether.
Man, I can't believe that girl is going with Bill
God
Murray.
sent across
If
the belly. I prove
Rule
you
the
lost
world,
already.
That's a good one. Also,
If
Nas
I
has more
ruled
than
the
one
world with
album.
Lauryn Hill,
What are you
that's
talking
good.
about?
Okay, but
Yeah,
Illmatic,
that's
New York State of Mind. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, first song that comes to mind for me for Nas is One Mic.
Really?
Great song.
First song comes to mind for me is New York State of Mind. I think of crime when I'm in the New York State of Mind. One Love, Life's a Bitch, Halftime, Represent. Come on, man. Illmatic. It's one of my favorite
the first
albums
thing that
of all
comes
time.
up in my mind is, how did Bill Murray pull that off?
You're just
I wanna
repeating
know, man.
Jay-Z's diss.
He was right.
How did he do it? How did
I
Bill do
disagree.
that?
I'm telling you, he had other good stuff.
That's a one hot album every 10-year average.
Killer Cam did a better song on that takeover beat than
Oh, please.
than Jay-Z.
Jay-Z's Super Ugly diss to Nas was so hard that Jay-Z's mom made him apologize to Nas because it was too mean. Jay-Z's mom was like, that's too much, man. You got to apologize because it was a woman, He had that line, me and the boy AI got more in common than just ballin' and rhyming. Get it? More in common. Tremendous. He's talking about Nas's baby's mother,
I don't
Carmen.
know how you guys are talking
Who
about
Allen
Schnoz
Iverson
and Nas
and
and all that kind of
Jay-Z
stuff.
both had sex relations with, and he was saying that in the
What?
song.
Damn, I'm still freaking out about the Bill Murray stuff. I don't know why you guys are talking about music.
Skeeted
Look,
in your
focus
Jeep,
back on
left
Bill Murray.
left condoms in your baby seat, like fucking disgusting, Killed Nas on
That's
that
not
super ugly
That's
diss.
not good. Man. That's not good.
Woo! Fire! Are you kidding me? Take over. Jay-Z forever.
Maybe she likes guys like geriatric,
Oh! I like Nas, but I'm a Jay-Z guy for sure. What are you talking about? Anybody thinks fucking Nas won that is wrong. I disagree strongly. Ether was good, but how you listen to Super Ugly and not tell me Jay-Z won that shit? He destroyed him. Whew. Hip hop history, baby.
Central Coast. Dude, why are you on that, man? Like, we should be focusing on how did Bill Murray pull that off.
Who
That's
cares? Because he's Bill Murray. He's hilarious and
Past
shit.
news, man.
Yeah, but dude, he's
Fake news.
like,
It's over.
Who knows Bill Murray now?
Speaking of fake news, I saw Donald Trump got indicted for something. Fake news. Can't be real.
Yeah, he always does. That's all bullshit.
That guy's
You know that,
indicted
Dave.
every day. No big deal.
Yeah,
Brushes
he's like
it
Teflon
off.
Don, man.
He's
Of course,
the best.
man.
He gets the best indictments. Everything's fine. The best. Tremendous.
It's all about the script. It's all in the script to entertain us.
It's all scripted. It's all fake. It's all fake.
Listen, man.
Sleepy
I don't know about
AJ
the
is on
UFO
the trouble
thing, man.
again. Sleepy AJ. All right, guys.
Sleepy time.
Good
Listen, man. Oh, listen. Before we end the show, I just want to give a
Fred, you
quick
got
update
NASCAR?
to Freddie. No, wait. Before NASCAR, I just want to give an update quickly to Fred. I took a look at the Mark Zuckerberg jiu-jitsu video where he tapped out, apparently. No, he didn't tap out, man. He got stacked, and it's normal when somebody stacks you and has like a cross collar and putting his forearm down that you're going to sort of like, it's the breathing. You're going to sort of like, it's normal. That's a normal thing. So there was no reason to stop the fight. His legs were still
I
crossed.
disagree.
I think Mark got I think Mark got.
I disagree.
No,
You're gonna
I'll be
make me
honest.
put a gi just to prove to you that you're
Oh
wrong.
man, no, I've done it to people where like once you're on top and you're stacked, like and you're
A
and
master
you're
power
completely
works,
down
man.
on
I'm
them.
telling you, especially
Yeah, but
against
I don't think he
a
went to
white belt.
sleep. Yeah, no,
Yeah, look
you
at his
can
legs.
tap
His legs
somehow.
went super straight. Like
You know,
okay,
because he
maybe he
was
didn't
because he
go
was
to
being
sleep, but
stacked.
he
No,
was
he didn't go to
he
sleep,
was
man.
going away. Ref saved him.
He wasn't going away. He's just.
Saved his
I
belt.
think it's the hard breathing because your neck and your back. It's literally having your knees to your ears. He was actually in a really. He's pretty flexible. I got to give Mark some credit here. He was flexible. I just think it was part of the breathing. When your breathing is compromised like that, it's gonna sound like you're snoring. There's a difference between when you're snoring and you're out, and you're completely like lifeless. That's when you're out. I just think the ref went a little bit. He was overzealous, and I don't think he tapped, and I don't think he was snoring,
You're
and
just
I
on
think Mark
Zuckerberg's
got
payroll, man.
no.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd
All
like to
right,
be on his
Fred.
payroll, but I'll be honest. I think he did a good job.
Fred, give me a NASCAR report. What do you got?
All right, guys. I gotta tell you, I gotta tell the fans of Ringside Report that there's a chance that next year Ringside Report's gonna be at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Because if NASCAR
What?
comes back next year, we're going, guys. Everybody's going.
Yeah,
Dave's coming. AJ's coming. I'm going for sure. But yeah, according to the Sports Business Journal, which I'm not sure if it's a legit, publication, but the Sports Business Journal sounds great.
I
Well,
think
they
it is.
said that
wow.
they said that NASCAR is considering coming back to Montreal next year and also bringing back the bringing for the first time their top series. Because from 2007 to 2012, they came with the Xfinity series, which is the second class, the second tier, which basically means like AAA. And they did like six races. The first three ones were sellouts. The other three weren't. They still had good crowds, but the promoters, they basically told NASCAR, like, if you don't give us the top show, well, we can't really make money off of this. So that's why we didn't have no races in Montreal for several years. But next year, there's a lot of changes on the schedule. Some tracks are closing. Other tracks are getting taken away. So there might be a spot for Montreal to be on that NASCAR schedule, and Ringside Report will be there trackside for the whole weekend. I promise.
Yeah, man, I'm there, Freddie. That'll be great, man. We'll all be decked out in ringside gear. We'll be like, in the pit lanes. I can assure you, man, it's going to be a
I
wild night.
remember I've been to all of these NASCAR races from 2007 to 2012, and that one had like this crazy rain for the whole day, and I was in a poncho playing dominoes with my friends next to the track, and we're enjoying NASCAR, man. It was fun, man. You gotta bring some dominoes.
All right, we'll bring dominoes, and we'll go to the next
And some Budweiser.
NASCAR if they come.
Sorry, not Budweiser anymore. Sorry, Freddie. No Bud.
Angelo, I did not watch the interview with Beneil Dariush that you sent me. I have not had time to watch that. And I don't really know. It's with that Steven Crowder guy. I don't know why.
Oh, I saw that one. Steven
why
Crowder,
is he
man.
interviewing
Number one.
Beneil Dariush? Is this about...
Because
he's not a
Yeah.
fight guy. He's like a...
he's a jiu-jitsu guy. No, Steven Crowder actually is from Montreal. He used to live
He's
in
from
Long Hill. He
Greenfield
used
Park.
to do he used to do jiu-jitsu. I think he was doing it with Freddie's school there at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so.
I think you sure? But he was out there. But he's a jiu-jitsu guy, a big UFC fan, and from Montreal, Steven Crowder. But he lives in the States. I think he's in Texas.
But he's
But,
like a political
great
guy.
show.
I don't know why he's doing
Yeah.
Beneil Dariush
Well,
interview.
because
I
it was
didn't
great.
see it.
I saw a clip of it today actually on that. It was very, very good.
Is he
Dariush,
talking to him
man.
about fighting, or is he talking to him about
Yeah.
other stuff?
Divorce.
Well, he was talking about fighting. He was talking about fighting and talking about his religious ways, like when he talks, and different perceptions and whatnot. It was a great interview, man. Great interview.
I
And
don't know what that
he's a
means,
big fight fan,
perceptions.
Steven Crowder. Well, just like when you go in the ring and you talk about your religious thoughts or beliefs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like George with his UFOs and that kind of stuff. You're allowed to.
UFOs is different than religious stuff. I
Not
prefer,
according to the Raelians.
I
Not according to the
prefer
Raelians,
when
Dave.
they
You don't know
keep
that.
it. I prefer when they keep it out of the cage. I don't need that.
That's what she says. But
I don't care.
What? I mean, it's like okay. What else do you have to say? when they start talking about their God and their this and their that, I'm like, okay, but like, get to the meat of the matter, because this doesn't really do much for me. I don't care.
Well, his body is meat.
All right.
Ooh, sexy.
I don't know what the hell you're trying to get to there, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Freddie thinking about Beneil Dariush like a piece of meat. What have you been watching? Yellow Jackets? What's the matter with you? Oh, the Yankees are up 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th here over the White
Dave,
Sox.
Still a lot of
in recent weeks
left, man.
In recent weeks, man, I wasn't saying much because I was looking at the standings and they were down to 6 games, down to 5. But now they're back to 9 games out, man.
Jeez.
What's wrong with the Yankees?
That's not good, man. Season's over already, man.
It's not over.
Season's over.
Damn, it just started. It's over,
over.
bud. It's okay, bud. It's all right.
Can't be 9
There's
games.
always something to look forward to next year, so we can follow Ringside through the summer.
They'll have another
We won't be
$500 million to spend next
Man,
year.
it's not over. 9 games back in goddamn July, or June even. In early June is still not over, and we're not that far out of a wild card spot. The Yankees could still make the playoffs. Maybe they won't win the East, but the Yankees could easily make the playoffs. They're only 3.5 back of the Orioles for second place, and if they take second place, they're getting a wild card spot. So I'm not super concerned right now. I think the Yankees are still in a good position. They need to start winning some ball games. They lost 2 in a row now to the White Sox. They lost the first game of the set on Tuesday. They lost again today in the first game of a doubleheader. They lost 3-2 on Tuesday and 6-5 today. So 2 kind of heartbreaking games. And right now they're up 3-0.
Just knocking on the door, man.
Nah,
that's
the
all I'm
Blue
saying.
Jays. Yeah, right. Now the Yankees are up 3-0 on the White Sox.
Boston will take care of them this weekend.
I think the Yankees are going to sweep the Red Sox this weekend, and then they'll be back in a really good spot. And Aaron Judge and Harrison Bader both been hurt. Since Bader went down, the team has been, in a rough spot. And then since Judge went down, it's okay, things are rough. Once Judge and Bader get back in the lineup, Judge, Bader, and Stanton have not played 1 game all together in the lineup all season. If we could get Judge, Bader, and Stanton healthy at the same time, look out. If the Yankees can get healthy, fully healthy, they're going to start winning some games and doing well. But right now, there's been a lot of injuries that are hurting the team. Rodon is starting to pitch. He might actually pitch for the Yankees soon, which would be a huge boost. If we could get Bader back in the lineup, if we could get Judge on a quick turnaround. He hurt his foot running into the wall in L.A. I really want to see Judge back in the lineup as soon as possible. Hopefully, he just got put on the 10-day IL. Hopefully, it's not a long stint on the injured list and we get Judge back in the lineup. But injuries have been hurting the Yankees, and that's why the bats have been a little quiet. Tonight, they got 3 runs so far, but the White Sox have 0, so hopefully they can come away with a win here over the White Sox, but losing 2 out of 3 from the White Sox is not the way this series was supposed to go. So, yeah, disappointing in some aspects, but there are reasons why the Yankees aren't performing the way they should, and that's because their best player and another one of their best players both hurt, in Bader and Judge. So we'll be
Texas
back.
Rangers.
It's not over, guys, all right? I still have faith in the Yankees. I'm not giving up. It's not even close to over, okay? They're going to win tonight. They're going to win tonight. What? Shut up, AJ. Don't talk about Babe Ruth. Don't disrespect the memory of the great Bambino by talking about him.
Wasn't it Joe DiMaggio that said that? No, it's not over till it's over.
It ain't over till it's over? That sounds like
Yogi
Berra.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Good old Yogi, man. Till the fat lady sings.
I think that was a Yogi Berra. Did Yogi Berra say that? Yeah, Yogi Berra said that. But I think pretty much everything cool that ever was said in baseball was said by Yogi Berra, it seems. So that guy
Freddie, look like you were
going to
cut into a song or something.
All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, with Johnny North talking professional wrestling for Wrestling Uncensored. And we will be back on Saturday night for UFC 289. The watch-along. We'll be watching the pay-per-view with you, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, coming up Saturday night. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Shout out to Eagle999 over on Rumble, Angelo, Brooklyn Lizard, and everybody else watching us over on YouTube. There you go. Angelo, been a member now for 28 straight months over at join.ringside
Wow.
report.
Thanks
So
a lot,
thank you,
Angelo.
Angelo, everybody supporting over at join.ringside report. You are strong supporters of us right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.